I'm Julie Stone. I'm professor of flute at Eastern Michigan University. Today we're going to talk about alternate fingerings on the flute. These are helpful for ease of technique, to help out some fingerings when you have to play fast, and for intonation purposes. There are several we're going to go through, but what I would first recommend is that you purchase some books or at least look at these. The first one is by Hertzbaum, Alternative Fingerings for the Flute. The next one is by Irv Monroe, Special Fingerings for the Advanced Flutist. And the next one I recommend is by Pellerite, Modern Guide to Fingerings for the Flute. These are all excellent references, and you can find a lot on the web too. Now, what I have done, I have written a book called Notes on the Flute, which is basically a flute method, but within that, I do have a section on alternative fingerings, and I kind of condense the ones I like into a table that you might want to screenshot. It's this piece of paper right here, so hopefully that will help you. So here we go. The first one that I'm sure you probably heard of is the B flat thumb. This is considered an alternate fingering. You can use it, as you know, in the flat keys where there is no B natural or high F sharp. So if there's a passage that doesn't have those notes, you can leave that down and you don't have to use both of these fingers. I sometimes will use it in passages with A sharps that the passage doesn't have a B natural or high F sharp in. I recommend not sliding too much. You can in certain cases, but what I do, I wait for a C or a high G where my thumb is free to go back and forth. And in my music, when I'm going to use it, I'll write a plus where I use it and a 0 where I take it off. That's very helpful. Another alternate fingering is what we call the chromatic or lever B flat. It's this little key right here. I have an extra key here called the C sharp trill, but this key right here is on all flutes. And this is useful, like I said, in chromatic passages, but you can keep it down while you're playing A flat, and G, and that can be helpful in many situations. It also helps with the trill from G sharp to A sharp. That's another case where you can use it. The next one I want to talk about is an alternate fingering for C sharp in the staff. This one, if you just use this, is pretty sharp. So a lot of times I will put down my right hand 1, 2, and 3 instead. So here's the normal fingering. Here's the alternate. It brings down the pitch just a little bit. Another reason to use it is toggling from D to C sharp. You can leave your right hand down. Similar to that, you can leave your right hand down for C natural if you put this first finger down. So instead of going D to C, you can do this. And it's not as cumbersome. Here's normal D to C. Here's D to C with right hand down. Much easier to do. The next one I want to talk about is high E. High E is a very sharp note. So what I will do a lot of times is take off my pinky for that note. Here's normal. The second one, I took off my pinky. Next one I want to talk about is high F sharp. It's a little bit shrill when you use this finger, and the timbre's a little bit better and the pitch a little bit better when you use middle. So the first one was with this, and the second one was with the middle fingering. High F is very, very sharp. If you put down this finger, it's sometimes much better in tune. It's hard to do in fast passages, but when you're sustaining an F, it really helps. So here's normal F. Here's the alternate. It sounds much better. The next one I want to talk about, these aren't necessarily alternate fingerings, but just make sure when you're fingering high B flat, It's thumb, 1 and first trill, no pinky, no first finger. Those sound a little bit cloudy. Here's the high B flat with those fingers. Here it is without them. It's much clearer. Same thing with high B. You don't want the pinky on that key. Okay, moving on. High F sharp and A, to play them soft, there's a trick you can use that makes them slightly sharp and the response is really good. Instead of using this for your pinky, you can put down the low C sharp key. That was with the low C sharp. Here it is with the regular key. It's a lot harder to get out. And high A as well. You can play it really soft and it's way easier to control than with this finger. And there are certain cases where you can use it. I'm thinking especially in the cadenza of the Chaminade Concertino. Those two fingerings can help you in that with those passages. The next one I want to talk about is high G sharp. High G sharp can be very shrill and sharp. So I like to put down these two fingerings. Here's normal G sharp. Here's with the last two fingers. Much, much better. The last one I want to talk about is C above the staff. Sometimes we're asked to play it soft. This one goes for piccolo as well. So does the G sharp. The C above the staff, if you're trying to play it soft, will go flat. It's a little bit under pitch. So what I do to make it easier to play it in tune when it's soft is I'll finger an F but take off my thumb, and that makes it sharp so you can control it down to pitch. Here's normal, and here's the alternate. That's a lot easier to control. So I hope you can find these useful.